Hey guys, welcome to Mastering Digital Marketing. This is the very first module, and I am really excited to have every single one of you here with me. And before we kick into today, I want to say a big shout out to everyone who took out time to partake in this course. I know we're living in beautiful times here in Nigeria, and wherever you're joining this class from, I want to appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for making it to the class, and I hope that this class gives you the firm foundation you need to be able to take your business online more confidently, to be able to promote your business online, to be able to learn a skill set that you can, build a life on, because basically, whether you have a staff, whether you have people working with you, whether you're a business owner, there are some basic foundational truths that you need to have about digital marketing for you to be able to grow your business, for you to be able to employ someone to do the daily work and supervise that daily work to ensure that you're getting the right direction. Okay, so this is what this course hopes to provide, and I'm confident that by the time we're done with this class is going to be a 40 video class intensive digital marketing blast. Okay, and then just to smooth over every nerves or whatever, apart from getting this course, I'm going to be giving you guys 5 case studies that are practical to whatever situation you're in right now, either as a e-com business, either as a physical product business, either as a service-based business, either as a skill set you want to build an agency around, or as a supervisor who is running a unit in charge of digital marketing for your business. Okay, so whatever the case study is, we have solutions for you guys. And apart from the case studies, I'm going to be making available to every single one who takes this course the wealth of information I've been able to gather online as well. So there's going to be a bumper bonus, okay, coming with every purchase of this course. And I don't want to take up much time because this video is supposed to be biteable, and so let's just dive in, guys. Okay, so moving on, in this module, we're going to be talking about introduction to digital marketing, and in this module is over 4 lessons, but I'm just breaking it down. You are going to learn the following definitions: marketing, digital marketing, market segmentation, digital marketing strategy. You're going to learn the basics of digital marketing, platforms of digital marketing and formats, benefits of digital marketing, an overview of channels and tools, and what is a digital marketing strategy. And hopefully in our live AMA this week, we are going to be doing our first exercise, which is building a digital marketing strategy. So you guys, you have to be ready for this one, and hopefully we can do this as we move ahead. Okay, so moving on, we have a definition like on screen, and I'm doing this basically because I don't want anybody to be left out. Now, there are some people in this course that are going to feel like they are more advanced and more ahead and may not need some of these things we're doing in the first module, but everybody is not at the same place in their journey. And just because you know this stuff, maybe 4, 5, 6 years you've been in this space, doesn't mean you do not need a refresher from time to time. Okay, so that's why I'm paying the due diligence to do this, so that when we leave this module, I can be confident to say that there's no need coming back to this module. Everything that could be tackled in this module has been tackled, and I'm rest assured that you guys have the basics foundation. Okay, now I don't intend to go gospel with you guys right now, but the fact is that if the foundation be destroyed, what shall the righteous do? Okay, so you need to have a basic foundation. And so when we say digital marketing, I want to take the whole thing back to the root word, which is market. What are we trying to achieve here? Now, the definition on screen says a market is a place where parties can gather to facilitate the exchange of goods and services. So I want you to see digital marketing at the back of your head and see you standing at a kiosk and 200 people are pushing money in your face. That's what digital marketing is. That's the image I want you to keep at the back of your mind. You at a stand in your business, in your shop, 200 people standing in your front holding money. Now you can imagine them holding dollars, you can imagine them holding euros, you can imagine them holding pound sterling, whatever they are holding. You can even imagine them holding cryptocurrencies. Okay, whatever they are holding, imagine that picture. Keep it at the back of your mind all through this course, because that's the end goal. The end goal is at the end of this course you are able to deploy your strategies, deploy your tactics, utilize channels and platforms and formats to be able to drive the ultimate picture. So the ultimate picture is you behind the counter store and having 200 people in your face. Like basically now in the real world right now, it may not be 200 people in the physical shop. It may be you opening your WhatsApp and you're seeing 400 chats. And the people we need this thing, 400 chats. So that could be the picture you could keep at the back of your mind. You understand me? Because this is reality. Like I've delivered such a result for a customer. Okay, now I know some of the cynical people in this course will be like, is that even real? Is it everybody that will buy? You need to pay attention to what I'm about to say right now, because it is very, very important. Whatever makes a customer see your ad, see your content, see your design, see whatever you put out there, click through and come to your WhatsApp, you should know that 90% of the job is done. The only problem left unsaid is the 10% of that job, which is how fast you respond, how you communicate to the customers, how you make them feel welcome, how you solve their problem, how you go out of the way to remove roadblocks to them buying from you. Okay, the remaining 1% in this factor now is if the customer is just the remaining factor in this equation now is the customer ready to buy? Is the customer just fooling around? Or is there a good product fit? Okay, because so you need to do that. Whatever brings a customer into your nexus on WhatsApp, on DMs, wherever they are, just know that you are in a good place with them, because there are tons of people out there. They could be disturbing anyone's DM, but they're in your DM. So how you make them feel, how you handle their inquiries, how fast you are, and just the general rapport makes everything happen. Now I'm going to give you guys a clear-cut example of this. Like, I was paying basically because it's what I do, and I initially foresaw it coming. Okay, now I'm going off script here, so you could just put your notes down and let's just have a teachable moment right here. Okay, like I was paid by a company over multiple six figures to run a digital marketing campaign. Okay, now I understand the fact that because we're running digital marketing campaign and because 90% of businesses in the South are fast asleep on a golden opportunity to grow their businesses, and even 80% of these businesses that are fast asleep do not even have the right systems in place to ensure they maximize these opportunities. Okay, so because of that, I opted to set up the landing page, set up the sales funnel, set up the WhatsApp DMs, connect everything and man everything, because I know that I can do everything on my end. The campaign can still be a failure if the final piece of the puzzle, which is the CS staff that is going to handle the whole thing, if they are sleeping on duty. Okay, and I did that. I pushed, and finally there was a robot on which is just run the campaign, take the money, do everything. Our staff will handle it. I was like, I'm fine. Like, I'm seeing over 30% profit in this deal, so why should I put myself under more stress with more work? Okay, so we went ahead, we ran the thing. It's still running as we're speaking. I'm hoping that whatever happens. Okay, so at the flip side, we got feedback from the customers like, nothing is happening here, and I foresaw it coming. Okay, so thankfully, which is one of the skills I'm going to teach you guys here, thankfully the campaign had tracking, in the sense that I was tracking both with Google Analytics, I was also tracking with Google Ads, and inside Google Ads I was tracking with a conversion. Okay, now this is another benefit, because the landing page we're using, I built the landing page, and I embedded Google tag into the landing page and analytics tag into the landing pages. Okay, so when all this talk was coming out of blah 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 blah, I just went back, pulled out my analytics, pulled out the conversions, pulled out this stuff. Okay, and we had seen over 200 clicks from the ad to the landing pages, and on my end I was tracking over 165 DMs from landing pages to WhatsApp with a premeditated message which I coded into the link to WhatsApp. Okay, get this, no response from the guy who was handling the WhatsApp. This was the same problem I had foreseen. So on the flip side, we now did a little experiment, which is we clicked on the link, sent a message to the WhatsApp, and watched to see how responsive the guy would be. Turns out the guy responded after 24 hours. So not only did we spend multiple six figures to drive these people to the DMs, but the guy handling the DM responded a day later, which is too poor. Minimum, or let me just say maximum, should be an hour. If possible, you could use automated messages to ensure that as soon as they DM, you give them a response, and within 5 minutes your WhatsApp gives you a notification that you've gotten somebody in the inbox. Okay, so I'll just leave that and say it in passing for somebody who's going to pick that and do something with it. So while we are trying to teach you digital marketing, while we are trying to equip you with the skills you need to deliver on the job, there's a flip side that you need to be also thinking about. The flip side is actually the systems, the processes in your back end, in your team, in your staff, that is going to take all the volume of traffic we send your way. So you need to start thinking about systems and processes in-house in your business that's going to, receive all this traffic of people we are sending your way, and be able to process them. Make sure you get 80% buy-in. Make sure you get 15% of the 20% that didn't buy coming back. Make sure you put them into your broadcast list. Make sure you keep them seeing your status. Now I've jumped the gun here, but we'll get back to this some other time, guys. Let's keep moving on. Okay, so before we move on, one thing I want to stress is that a market is not just a place where people gather to exchange goods or services. A market is also a place where people gather to exchange ideas, perspectives, to share knowledge, to share information. And this market now, the way we know it growing up is Ogbete. Do you understand? Now, the way we know it growing up is Kensington. Okay, so the way we know it growing up is just go there, buy, sell. Do you understand me? But this market has evolved. This market is now Twitter. Okay, this market could be a hashtag. Okay, this market can also be a hashtag. Like, I am bullish on this definition. In fact, just write it down in your notes that a market is a hashtag. Bro, one hashtag in the right niche on Twitter can have 8,000 people coming to your page if you do the write-up well. One hashtag on Twitter. Okay, in fact, I don't know if I'll do this now or in our live AMA, but we're going to have a section on hashtags whenever we do our AMA, and I want to show you guys real life examples of how these things work. You have a Twitter account, you don't have up to 50 followers, but you are sensitive and cognitive enough to do a proper hashtag with your posts, and you come back after a few hours and you see 8,000 people impressions. One, you see a couple of likes if you do the post well. You see a couple of detail expands. You could even see a few lucky follows, but those 8,000 people are there, real people. Like, you spoke to a real stadium of people. Real, not bots, real. Okay, so but let's move on. So yes, we've talked about markets, what a market is. Now let's talk about marketing. Now marketing this is a definition from Dion, but let's just go through it. Marketing is a crucial aspect of running a successful business. It involves promoting products or service to potential customers with the aim of increasing brand awareness and driving sales. Okay, so that is the definition of marketing. Now basically I want to just highlight something on screen right here. Let me see what that is. I want to highlight the word promoting. Everybody write this definition down, underline the word promoting product or services. Okay, highlight the word promoting product or service, and then circle the word potential customers. Okay, now the people you are going to be talking to are not really your customers, they are potential customers. Okay, but then you need to know that what you are doing is you're promoting your product or your services to these potential customers, but you need to package it in a way that it is relevant to them. Okay, so some of you will be on Instagram now, just a case study now. Some of you will be on Instagram, okay, and be like, hello fam, what's good, blah 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 blah. Okay, nothing wrong with the famness. Okay, but who are you selling to? You're in Enugu and you're selling to people. If you're selling a service-based product or a physical product, you're selling to people who are 25 kilometers around your business first. You are now selling to people who are within your state second, and thirdly, you are just you're throwing a random shot in the dark to anybody who is online. So if you have this cognizance in your mind and you're out there crafting your content, you should be bullish about people who are 25 kilometers from you, Baba, because that's where your next sale is coming from. It's not coming from somebody in Canada who is going to farm or whatever. It's not coming from there. Sure, there could be the serendipity of them linking somebody to you, but you are selling to the people who are 25 kilometers around your business. So your marketing, your communication, your vibe should be with those people numero uno in your mind. Your vibe should be most people in your, so you should be free to come and be like Igbo Kwenu. Do you understand me? Because you are in Enugu, you should be free to say like 042 here, waiting to happen. You should be free to be like TGIF or Afia, whatever. Something. I'm not that. I understand Igbo, another verse in speaking. So you should be free to do some crazy things in that nature. Why? Because you relate to those people around you. Do you get? So context is one of the biggest things in marketing. Like, I wish I could take this thing and put it into your soul. Context is one of the biggest things in marketing. Context. If the context is wrong and the audience is wrong, or there's a mismatch, you've wasted your effort. If the context is wrong, for example, I think we also do this in our live AMAs. Okay, for example, somebody hired an agency in Lagos to run ads for MTN or Glo, and the ad was targeted towards Ramadan. Do you get? Okay, and the ad is targeted towards Muslims in Ramadan. Now, I'm not against MTN or against any of their policies, okay, but that message I felt should be contextual to Muslims, while winking at all of us that are non-Muslims, because we are still in the MTN ecosystem. If you're doing anything online, you are in the MTN ecosystem, QED, okay. So the message was direct, should be directed to the Muslims. So the message was just generic, wishing all Muslim faithfuls blah 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 in Ramadan. That's one. Two, there was an image of somebody using MTN products, okay, and we are going to do this in an AMA. If you've been watching these videos, I need you to remind me whenever we come for our AMA, so that we do these practical things online live with you guys, okay. So at the end of the whole thing, Ramadan has passed. This is 3 weeks after Ramadan. We are still seeing Ramadan ads online. Now, it's not that you cannot change the write-up, change the images, and still continue with the campaign. It's doable. But Ramadan is 3 weeks after. And if you are a Muslim person, Ramadan has passed, you are coming online to like the same message during Ramadan. Maybe you vibe to it then. Do you understand me? You vibe to the whole Ramadan Eid el-Kabir. You vibe, we move, you're in that zone. 3 weeks later, you are coming online. MTN is still same message, same image, same whatever. Ramadan. You're like, come on, man, what's happening here? Like, in it. So that's just the thing. So it needs to be contextual. So when you're in that space, you're running for such a targeted time, and you have such a big budget, you need to do like 50 different creatives and make sure you saturate everywhere for just that period. Because once that period passes and you still have budget remaining, change all your designs, change all your write-up. Yes, Ramadan has come, and Ramadan was a wonderful time. As we move into the remainder of the year, what are your plans for your businesses? What are your plans for your children? Okay, so you change the write-up, you change the advert, and you're moving on. Okay, we'll talk more about this in another lesson, but let's just keep going on. Okay, so here's another definition. Marketing is a body of activities a company undertakes to promote the buying or selling of a product or service. Now, when we talk about marketing, we are still talking about digital marketing, but we've taken it to the root word, which is market. I can even take it towards the root word again, which is mark. What is a mark? A mark is a target. A mark is a target, and the target is the audience. Now, for you, the mark for you may be the sale, but trust me, you won't get the sale if you're not bullish about the audience. So the mark is the audience, the target is the audience. So let's come to marketing. What are those? Marketing is simply a body of activities that help you meet your mark. And what is your mark? The audience. QED. Okay, let's move on. Moving on to components of traditional marketing. Okay, now I want you guys to understand that traditional marketing and digital marketing, we've defined marketing, we've done that. We are coming into what was, and then what is, and then what could be. Okay, so what was, if you had a business in the 1970s down to the 1990s down to 2000, what worked or what works then, or what worked is print marketing, broadcasting, outdoor marketing, one-on-one marketing, which is word of mouth, direct mail marketing, and referral marketing. Okay, now these are 6 components or 6 forms of traditional marketing. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say that they don't work anymore. I'm just saying that times have changed, so your message should be contextual. Like, if you don't take anything out of this video today, just take that word contextual. take that word today and run with it. Okay, now personally I've done broadcasting because in 2017 to 2018 I worked 2 years in a media firm here in Enugu to drive customers for them, and that was basically just the talking to business owners to advertise on radio, to advertise on TV, to advertise on radio. And I do not want to do this, but I have to say this, like, we do not have a culture in Southeast like we have in Southwest, which is enlightened culture of knowing the value of running ads to grow your business. Everybody in the Southeast, in one way or another, feels growing your business is open shop and stay there. Somebody pass, hello, we there here. You will go out of business. Like, trust me, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. You will go out of business. Like, what's that one thing that should wake you up from your sleep and cold apoto you all over you, everything? What's that one thing that should make you have that every day? What's the one thing that should make you have that every day? That thing is, how am I marketing my products? How am I going to meet my customers? How am I going to meet my next 1000x customer? Okay, how are people seeing my business? How are they going to see us? How are they going to know us? That's the first thing. Second thing is, how are we going to access and onboard as many of them as possible, please them and keep them. Okay, please them and keep them. Okay, so that should be in fact, just if you have spare time later in the day, just sit down and simulate that thing. You're sleeping, hey, how am I going to get customers? That should be your mindset. That should be your mindset. Like, that should be your biggest worry. Now, I'm not saying worry and fret. I'm like, that should be at the back of your mind every day. Why? Because the more you think about it, the more you keep it in view, you are able to think out ideas and activities that help you grow that thing. Okay, so we've talked about it. Direct mail marketing, you send letters in an envelope to people all over Enugu or all over New Haven. It worked overseas. I'm not sure there's companies in Nigeria that practiced it. The one we are more versatile in Nigeria is outdoor marketing, billboards, like, print marketing, newspapers, broadcasting is still some places we've not yet really gone there. One-on-one marketing, mostly practiced by the MLMs, the let's partner with you and all of that. Okay, so but it's still a viable means of getting people. Like, I'll give you a case study. Basically, this year I started an agency, my business, Viral SMMA, which is this proud sponsor of this course. Okay, and I was doing my books some days back. Okay, I found out that 90% of customers that I have now are people who have been in my circle for the last 2 years. Okay, now most of them weren't in my circle as friends. Most of them were acquaintances I spoke to about doing business some years ago that didn't buy them, but they stayed in my circle. They kept seeing my status, they kept seeing my content online, and today they are customers. So look at your circle, look at your connection, look at your base, and look at what you can bring out of there. How can you market? So you need to take really good care about your WhatsApp. Now, I'm going to give you guys a free webinar on WhatsApp marketing. Free webinar. Like, I just want anybody who's gone through this course for the next 2 years to have access to any content I make. Any content, and I want you guys to have access, and I want you guys to also keep me in the loop about this. So as it's coming out, you're seeing it on my status, be following me up like that so that you guys will get it. Okay, so just like so for me, in my mind now, you're buying this course, like, you're not just buying this course, like, everything I build on top this course. Okay, everything I build on top this course, you should be a beta access participant of that thing. Like, even if it's going to be a 200k webinar in 2 years time, before that webinar goes live, you should have access to BTS of the webinar, have access to portions of the webinar, have access to be able to buy it at a 80% discount price, like just because you bought this one. Okay, so let's move on, guys. Yeah, so we've come to the main word, which is digital marketing. Basically, the use of digital channels to market products. If we go back, what we had before was use of traditional channels. So digital marketing is just, we've built on the audience, marketing, activity, and inside that activity we talked about non-digital platforms. Okay, now we added the third layer, which is digital channels. Okay, so using digital channels rather than old channels to reach your end customers. I like to keep it simple and keep it moving. Okay, so now let's look at the components of digital marketing. Now, in the last one, we looked at what was in the last one? We looked at billboards, print, we looked at broadcasting, we looked at one-on-one marketing, we looked at direct mail through envelopes in the post office. We don't have post office in Nigeria again. And we also looked at what was that last one? Referral. Okay, so in digital marketing, these are not all the components, but these are just some key components. Okay, like we have social media here, we have SEO, we have video, we have mobile devices. Okay, we have SEM, pay-per-click. I'm bullish on pay-per-click. Okay, you guys will find that as well. And we have content. Okay, so I want you to look at this image and just know that content is, I don't know how to put it now, but like every other thing is built on top content. So in digital marketing, content is like your springboard to whatever success you're going to have in digital marketing. I need to be taking these things down because I need to be tweeting them as well. Okay, so content is your springboard for whatever you're doing in digital marketing. If you're doing social media, there's no social media without content. There's no SEO without content. There's no video without content. No ROI without content. No pay-per-click without content. No SEM without content. Okay, so content is king, engagement is queen. So you need to be bullish about engagement. Okay.